programs, two great fan bases, two national brands, and this year, different than other years. I've spent I've spent so much of the early part of this bowl game trying to convince the people at ESPN, look, we don't want to play a night game. They keep thinking we're Phoenix. I said you got to think more Colorado than Arizona. Like we have this thing here called winter and it gets cold, and so we love that daytime slot on ESPN. It's been great for us. But this year, with the convergence of circumstances, it started with the NFL, and we're primetime on ABC. And the opportunity, I know you being in this business, you understand what primetime on ABC means for the community, for the potential, for the exposure. It's a lot of people will be watching Albuquerque, New Mexico on Saturday night.
Well, you got two teams that have a great fan base, so that's one thing. You'll have fans in the stands, and
I think so.
And I just seems like there's energy. I mean, there's momentum and energy going into this bowl game.
Yeah, I think locally, right? I mean, like I love what Danny's doing with UNM football. I want him to succeed, and I know he will. But it was a tough year for UNM football, and I think to be able to bring really, really high octane game, a high profile game, and then the exposure with ABC. ESPN's great, the exposure, but this is another level, and this all came about the Raiders game against the Patriots was initially set for Sunday night. On that Football Night in America game, the NFL flexed out of it, pushed that game back into the afternoon window, and there was an issue with flipping the field at Allegiant Field in Vegas from the Las Vegas Bowl to the Raiders game, and that forced us to swap. The Las Vegas Bowl went into our slot in the daytime on ESPN, and we got the nighttime.
I know it really took a lot out of you because everybody's, you're always expected to 1 o'clock or 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock spot or whatever it might be on Mountain Standard Time. And I know that you were like, oh, we got two scenarios here. Hey, we might play on the lower ESPN, but we might make it to the big time in the ABC.
Well, I know we talked last week. We were literally in our staff and really the community and Vegas too. We just had to be flexible. We're both owned by ESPN. So, and what John and his staff have had to do in Vegas to go through and make their changes, and then obviously our community, there was messaging out. 12:15 was the kickoff, and then it flipped literally last Monday. Last Monday is when it went official. We've known the possibility for about three and a half weeks prior. But yeah, just being able. I'm proud of my staff. I'm proud of what we've been able to do just to flip this thing because we've had to be a little flexible on this. And so it'll be a different day. And the party will go from 1:30 to 5:30 beforehand instead of 9 in the morning till noon, right? And it'll be a different day, and it'll be chilly, but it'll be great, and I'm looking forward to it.
Talk about BYU, what their record is, and I know they're excited because we have some mutual friends, and they're already calling and things like that. So.
Yeah, no, BYU. Here's a weird fact, and it doesn't mean anything. It's just kind of the bizarreness of sports. Do you know that BYU's final game as a member of the Mountain West before they went independent was the New Mexico Bowl back in 2010, I believe. And their final game as an independent before they go to the Big Ten is playing in this game. Like we literally bookended their independence. It doesn't mean anything. It's just kind of weird.
That's a good point. I didn't even.
No, it's bizarre. They're really good. They had a little skid in the middle of the season, but I mean,
there were high expectations at the beginning of the year.
They were, and they beat Baylor early on, and everybody really got high expectations. And you look at their record, and you look at the teams they played, and they finished out really strong. They beat Stanford to close out the season. They've won. They won their last 3, I believe, coming in, and SMU's won 4 out of 5. And high-scoring offense, and Kalani's done a great job up there, and obviously an incredibly passionate fan base. And then they wanted to be here. As we've talked to them over the 3-4 weeks before the game, as we started to hone in on what we were wanting to do, what we could do, and then the potential of the primetime matchup. BYU really came to the forefront on this, and I'm excited because it's such a brand. This is their power. I mean, that's a Power 5 team now, right? They're going to the Big 12, and just a really, really solid program with a great fan base that's exciting. They're going to put on a show. They score a lot of points.
And SMU,
11th ranked offense in the country. What Rhett Lashley's done there in his first year is really amazing. They're 7-5 and they're 5-3 in the American. They beat Houston 77-63. Sounds like a 6A high school score around here, doesn't it? 77-63, they won that game. They've got just talent all over the field. They won 4 of their last 5. They're playing really, really, really well. I think their only loss in there was Tulane, who's playing the Cotton Bowl. So I just another team that's really found themselves, and because of COVID, it's been a while since they played in a bowl game and won a bowl game, and so they also I think are pretty excited to be here.
Well, the lines. If you follow the lines or anything,
I've heard of them.
It's like a 1 point.
It's really close.
Very close. Very close. Yeah. So that's you don't usually see when you get to a bowl game. Usually it's 3.5, 5, 7, or up to 10 sometimes. And this one here is you can just throw that toss up. So
it's and I've seen it. The experts are telling me both ways, and everybody's watching. Who's going to play and who might not play, and I'm not sure I know all the answers to that yet. But all I know is there's 2 teams coming in who want to be here, who are excited, who are playing well, and I mean, you look down the list, man. I will tell you this, Steve. This is when I know we did something, and I don't even know that we did it, that we've got something. I've had executive directors from at least 8 different bowls phone me or text me and say, congratulate us on the time slot, on the matchup. Man, I wish we had that. You're going to love having them. It's not every year we sit here. Well, every year we do sit here, I tell you how great it is. But not every year I completely am sold on what we've got going in. I know we've had great games, but this can be special.
Tell you what, we're going to go to the Dream Style Top 10 Plays of the Week. Come back and talk more about the New Mexico Bowl.
With that shot, and Mask underneath. The defense is not there in time. To move by Justin Mask.
Well, first.
Nice pass. That's working that flex offense right there. And there's another timeout for Coach Varela.
Montez scans the scene, finds the corner, shot is up. Ooh, there's another one. Aris, that's 9 for Aris, and she's hit.
Coach Dakota says that this is as far as the players playing zone right now. Fight 3 is good. Jackson Fight knocks it down to the left side, from the left side, for the Sun Devils. They lead by 10. They're playing. Big 3! Buried in by Dylan McCleskey.
Trifectas of her own. Fires it off down low, Campos off the glass, and there it is.
It is the buzzer by Ian Holmesburg.
Pitcher perfect. Ball is on the ground in 5:30.
Ball is stolen away by Montoya. Starters are on the break. Cal finds Trujillo. Pump fake. Trujillo was rejected by Terrell. Rebounded by Cal. Hook shot is up. It's good. 2 points for Ryan Cal.
Good things we have.
A.J. Rivera. I think the story in this one is the pressure defense that has turned up. They go with another turnover. Cal's on the break. Cal puts it down. Ryan Cal with the dunk in transition.
Stucco is the way to go. The Southwest tradition, beautiful and durable. The perfect favorite texture. You're gonna love it when they put it all together. Through any weather, nothing looks better. From the smooth to the rough, they really know their stuff. Nobody does stucco like Dream Style Stucco.
Hey, welcome back to Steve Davis Show. We got Jeff Siembieda, Executive Director of the New Mexico Bowl, and on the series side, we lost a great one today, and I know it's a personal, Mike Leach, and you knew him better than I did, so I'll let you speak about him.
Yeah, this was this one hurt. Mike was. Kerry said it this morning. He said there won't be another one of him, and I'm like, wow, that's what we put in our tweet. There's Mike at the 2013 New Mexico Bowl, and he was only 61 years old, passed away this morning, and made an impression. And I know he made an impression on you. You were just telling me a story, sitting up with him. He was one of the most engaging, one-on-one. Like all the stories you see, all the quotes you saw about Mike, they were real. They were him. But watching him and working with him and then talking to him over the years, he was real. Like when he sat in our hospitality suite back in 2013, they came in a day early, and he sat there till the hours of the morning and engaging with our board members and our partners and our people. And it wasn't a guy just sitting there and answering questions and bragging about himself. It was him. I guarantee you, he asked about you, what you do. Tell me about your family. I promise. I know. That's what he was.
No, that's what impressed me to this day. I felt like he's kind of like Ray Birmingham, that type person. He wants to know about you. He's content with himself. He's not one of these guys that talks about how great he was. He actually asked me what I did.
Yeah, and he cared.
And cared what I did.
And listened to you and ask you follow-up.
And he actually, I got to sit and talk to him for almost 25, 30 minutes. Yeah. And it was like anybody that came over, he would introduce me to them like I was somebody.
That's right. I remember it was late night, and he was with Representative Foley at the time, and his wife came in, and Michael, it's time to go. And honey, have you met Representative Foley? And she says, it's time to go. He says, good night. But Bill Moose, the athletic director who hired him at Washington State, told me the story about his interview at Washington State. Just one of the most unique, interesting, innovative people who just left a mark on everybody. And we've lost two great coaches who have been in our game. Dick Tomey, who won the first one, and then Mike in 2013, one of our classics. But to stay in touch with Mike a little bit over the years, and I'll miss him, and I think everybody who knew him will miss him. It's just when I heard the other night that he had an episode and went, all these pictures are from New Mexico Bowl back in 2013. When he went into the hospital and you heard these things, it was just like, it just broke my heart. So talked to a good buddy of mine who's an Ole Miss guy, right? They're arch rivals, and he was at the game in 2013 and met Mike and loves him. And actually let his kid go and go on a recruiting visit. Now he won't let him play at Mississippi State, but he went over and met with him. So we lost a good one today.
Well, on the positive side, it was Zach Arnett,
who's now the head coach there, or the acting head coach.
Acting head coach from New Mexico, protege of Rocky Long.
So I sent Zach a text yesterday and just wishing him luck. And Zach, La Cueva High School guy, who played at UNM and is the defensive coordinator at Mississippi State, will be the interim coach as the program, and they're getting ready for the January 2nd. It's the ReliaQuest Bowl, but the old Outback Bowl in Tampa. They're playing Illinois, and so Zach will be the guy, and he's got a great opportunity here.
Well, now let's get back to what's happening this week. We always kind of you have so many things happen, like starting today. And then walk us through the whole week till Saturday. Yeah, no, we're going. The setups, and we're waiting for the weather to clear to start painting the field and getting the wrap up and all that stuff. And then the teams will arrive on Wednesday, 2:30 and 2:45 at different places. I'm not sure how we're gonna get the band, the mariachi band, and the group over to get them, but we got to get them out there
and they'll be on the ground. We do a welcome event for them on Wednesday night. They'll do their gift suite. The players will, and they go through their gift suite, and we're having little action.
You like
figures.
that's something you just like to see their expression.
I love it. Yeah, Steve. And they're grateful, and they're they get their gifts. They get to go shopping, and then they're going to get a little action figure with their face on it. Like you scan their face, and it's amazing. And then Thursday they'll practice, and U.S. Bank's doing a financial literacy seminar for them, which I think is really cool. We do a ladies' day, a spa day out for the ladies who are coming in on Thursday, which Audra hosts, and then do a little VIP dinner at Andaluz, and the players will do an event, kind of a Family Feud style, and Rudy's barbecue dinner on Thursday night at the Convention Center, and the press conference at Isleta on Friday, and then Andre Reed, the Hall of Fame wide receiver, Buffalo Bills, will be in town to be the speaker at the kickoff luncheon. And we do the pep rally, which is open to the public for free. Van Tate will host that. Old Town Plaza, and that goes at 4 o'clock on Friday. And then let's go on Saturday, and we'll go afternoon, open up the public at 1:30 and kick off at 5:30 and hoist a trophy somewhere around 9. It'll be, I'm looking forward to the week. It's, when you work all week for some, or all year for some, people say, what do you do all year, right? You and I have had this conversation, and you see me all year long. You know what I do all year. You don't just show up and stuff happens in December. But when you work all year for a week and really an event, it's kind of like your baby, man. You're excited about it. I got such a passion for this, and our crew came together on Sunday. Literally, people coming in from Pennsylvania and Texas and all over. I mean, everywhere. Boom, and they showed up in the office on Sunday, and everybody filled their lane, and we're off and running.
I tell you what, excitement, price. I mean, tickets. How do we get?
Yeah, and tickets are really affordable. They're $40 in the whole lower bowl, $25 in that north end zone. And if you go to NewMexicoBowl.com, all the info's right there. We use the UNM ticket office. But go to NewMexicoBowl.com, right on top, it pops up, get tickets, or you go to the ticket drop down, and everything's right there.
Well, and they're going quick.
They're going. I mean, yeah, I'm not sitting here threatening a sellout yet, but certainly the middle sections are filling. I expect a good crowd on that east side.
Well, not to put any pressure on BYU, but I think that was one of the most attended games when they played.
I think it was our second most attended game. Yeah, 32,000.
32,000.
Yeah.
That's
It's been a minute since we've had 32,000 for us in that stadium. I've got an idea in my mind, but understanding it's nighttime, and we've had this conversation. With the Lobo basketball team playing so well, and they have a big game on Sunday. And certainly, football. When football at UNM is struggling, we've gone up and down with Lobo football, right? And that's, I'm a big fan. I know they're going to come back, and I'm looking forward to Danny getting that turned around next year. But in some respects, football is almost out of mind to people around here, right? And we've got to re-educate, rejuvenate, re-excite, and that's kind of what we're in the process of doing.
I'll tell you what, we're going to take a break, and we're going to come back and talk more about the New Mexico Bowl.
We here at Clark's Pet Emporium welcome you to bring in your pets. We know that having your pet with you makes the experience of shopping for them even better. And we welcome you to bring your kids also. Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of Pro Youth Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
For your business or your home, Family Fence stands alone. Number one in New Mexico for a reason. It's the best fence you can own. Proudly serving New Mexico for over 50 years. At Valley Fence, the difference is clear. No fence too big, too small, or difficult. We handle them all at Valley Fence Company.
As a mom, I I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
Hey, welcome back, Steve Davis Show. Got Jeff Siembieda, Executive Director of New Mexico Ball, and a lot of things happening this week. You kind of touched on. Good job with Aaron bringing up the what's happening, and but game day, is there's a lot of events during the game and that's happening. And what time's the game start first?
5:30, gates open at 4. Fan Fest will start at 1:30 in the afternoon, but 5:30 kickoff.
All righty, and then
5:36 if you want to get technical.
Something that's dear to you and I is, the Mike Danoff Award, and speak on that.
Well, I mean, Mike was, I don't know, whatever I say is going to be unjust. It doesn't do justice, but he was
bigger than life, is what you're saying.
I mean, he was family to you and me, and certainly, and Mike passed away last year, and so we've teamed up with the family and the boys and Margot to make sure that Mike lives on with the Michael Danoff Memorial Scholarship. Matt Manzanatos won the inaugural last year. Young man who walked on.
What a great story!
It's a great story.
I got to watch his first basket,
and you and I were at his last game at Sandia Prep on senior night.
Right.
And this year, a young lady named Kennedy Gibbons from Rama, New Mexico, and I was just looking at the program ad we put out, and just I'll let you read it. I'm not going to go through it, but just an amazing young woman who is doing so many things. And we sat around. The committee did. It was Mike's boys and Margot and David Silverman and just this young lady embodies what Mike is. I don't even want to say was. And so we're gonna do that, honor Mike, and then we have other things. The Athlete of the Year for Special Olympics will be going out with the mayor to do the coin toss.
And there's a bunch of interest on that. I mean, I'm just saying that. I mean, because I went to one of your events at Hooters, and that was a big subject.
No, it's huge. That is. We got Creamland is honoring all the high school football championship teams, and Cleveland High School will be on the field. Creamland bought tickets for them and make sure that they're there. I'm just trying to go through all the things that we've got. There's a big Cal section to remember Calvin Allen, the former Lobo lineman who was such a huge part of what we've done over the last 17 years. And there's a section that's honoring Cal. We will have the Serve Pro First Responder honor the first responders of the year, as Serve Pro has recognized. There's there's a group of Western New Mexico football players from the 1989, if I'm not mistaken. A big win against Northern Arizona. Coach O'Meara passed away this year, the legendary Coach O'Meara from Western. And so a bunch of his players are going to be there and be honored on the field. So we've got different things that we're bringing people out for teachers. How about this? So we partnered with the College Football Playoff Foundation. This is actually one of my favorite things we're doing amongst so many favorites. But we're going to give out $20,000 to educators around the state to use in their classrooms. And we partnered with College Football Foundation, Extra Yard for Teachers, and P&M. And there's 20 educators from around the state, and many of whom will be there, and will get recognized on the field. And P&M is helping us with this. And each are going to get $1,000 to use in their classroom.
Well, just going and seeing those people is worth the price of admission, just to see the great things that people of the state of New Mexico have contributed and done, and memory of the people that have done in the past.
Yeah, I just every year what we try to do is really, I want to. This can't just be about a football game, right? I want to bring together New Mexico's best. And
I
honor
don't know
and
that it's ever been about football.
I think you're right.
With you.
Yeah.
I mean,
no. Well, certainly with me it hasn't. Yeah.
No, it's been more of what you become with New Mexico.
Steve, you're from here, and I don't know at what point you're from somewhere. I've been here 26 years. I mean, at some point, I don't know, maybe I'll be from here, maybe not, but I feel like I'm from here. I love this place, and I hope it shows in what we've been able to do, right? I mean, there's a lot of ways I could have made a living and probably made a little bit more money, but I love this project. I love that we created this back in 2006, that we've grown it, that we've nurtured it, that we're celebrating 17 years this year, that we're actually starting to have conversation about what do we do for our 20th anniversary, right? I mean, and then we start looking at players. You know, we watched the Cowboy game the other night, the Sunday night game 2 weeks ago. 4 touchdowns in that game were scored by New Mexico Bowl alum in that, on the Sunday night game. There's so much about it. But I've always wanted this to be a tradition. You don't build a tradition overnight. Now, maybe over 17 years you do a little bit. But I'm proud of it. You know, I'm really proud of what the community has made it. It certainly isn't what I've done. I'm proud of what this community has done and the people with whom I've gotten to work and what ESPN has done and entrusted us with it. And, you know, I remember Dennis Latta and I sitting in conference offices one day in early 2006 and Rudy Davalos getting behind this and the governor, Governor Richardson and Pete Durzis and Clint Overby at ESPN seeing something here. And now we're on ABC on primetime. Not every year, but this year, like, look, well, I mean, we be proud of this, New Mexico. Be proud of this, Albuquerque. Be proud of what we got going this week, because a lot of communities would love to have what we got this week.
Well, you know, you go back 17 years, and when you first started this, was so many negative things said, you know.
And there still are, Steve.
Well, not many. Okay, I'm just okay. No,
Yeah.
Hey, what I'm saying is, you and I have some of the same similarities with Pro
doubt.
Networks.
No
Okay, and we still have, you know, people saying, but not as many. And you built up something that I think the biggest thing that you enjoy is people are looking forward to this event. This is one of the biggest things that they look for all year.
So there's not a negative to this, right? You and I have had this conversation. If this isn't for you, like, don't do it. That's cool. Like, don't go. Look at that. There's old Doc Holliday. He still sends Addie. That's the old Marshall coach. He still sends my daughter Christmas gifts, like ornaments. Him and his wife do. That was from, 2014, I think. There's no negatives to this. Go by Uptown. Go around town. We're going to fill hotels, restaurants, retail outlets, bars, all over this place with people who wouldn't be here. If you don't like the matchup, if you don't like football, that's totally cool. Like, don't go. But people are going to go and people are going to watch. And the people who do go have a blast. But there's no negatives to this. There's none. And to what you were saying, you know, the people who kind of talked about you and told you what you were doing and you're not good enough, I know it motivated you. And I know it motivated me. And I'm not done and you're not done. And but I heard it, and I hear it, and you know, my brother tells me all the time, I'll tell you what the Sunday morning paper is it's going to be a story about attendance. Okay. And, well, they need to do this. I don't know, man. We've been here 17 years. We've been doing pretty well. I want to sell the place out more than anybody does. I promise you. Nobody wants to sell this place out more than I do. And there's a lot more that goes into it, as you well know, than just the simple, hey, they're eligible, invite them, or why didn't you do this, or what. There's a lot that goes into it, and some I control and some we don't.
Well, Jeff, hey, thanks for coming on, and again,
Thanks.
Saturday, 5:30.
See you.
Get out.
And thanks for all the support every year. I appreciate you. Congratulations on your success.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.